Last week we ranked every FUT Birthday Team 1 player on FC25, but since then, of course, FUT Birthday Team 2 is here. There is a lot of new cards, and this is probably one of the biggest tier list videos that we have done, or series, because it's a part 2 video in a sense. But there has got to be probably around 100 FUT Birthday cards, including Team 1, Team 2, Icons, Heroes, SBCs, Objectives. We got the whole lot. So this is the rankings from the first episode. You can go check that out and, you know, see my reasoning behind them if you want. We have got the exact rankings in the exact order as we had it in the first video, so it should be identical to the ending of the first video. Of course, there's no point ranking them again. But yeah, today we're going to be ranking every FUT Birthday card in the game, now with the FUT Birthday Team 2 players, and also all of the SBCs, objectives, etc. that have released since last video. If you're wanting to upgrade your team and afford the best players on the game, head on over to u7buy.com for the cheapest coins available, and make sure to add a discount and use my discount code Davis at checkout for 8% off your order. Links are in the description or the pinned comment down below. The highest tier being the best in the game tier, S plus just below it, with an S tier, A++, and then A+ as the bottom tier. Now, whilst we're here, there is a couple adjustments that I want to make. Of course, there's been a week go by now. You've had time to use lots of these cards, so on and so forth. The first change I want to make is Nicholas Jackson from the A++, and he's getting relegated, lads, to the A+ tier. And I think it's really just disappointment with his two playstyle pluses. Chip Shot and Relentless is an awful two playstyle pluses to have for a striker. And also you got, say, Garassi, who a chip shot as well is not great, but that first touch somewhat makes up for it, and in general he just looks a bit better. So I'd rather Garassi than Jackson, therefore Garassi in the A++, and then we will move Jackson down to the A+. Now as for the S tier, there was a couple comments saying Trent should be moved up to the S+ tier, and that I can agree with. My reason behind wanting to agree with this is because with Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course you can play him in the midfield as well, and with all these play styles, he can play right back, CDM, centre mid, deep lying playmaker would be absolutely beautiful with him. So yeah, I think he deserves to move on up to the S+ tier. Otherwise, I'm really happy with everything else. So yeah, let's get ranking the new cards. Some of them don't need explanations. Gervinho, Doumbia, and Ibarbo, they're 93. Bro, you can see how slow it is when you move players around. This is so slow because there's like so many players here. It's like my PC is going to explode. But Gervinho, Doumbia, Ibarbo, the beautiful trio, the Roma trio, they are all going into the best in the game category. They're all like 2 to 3 million coins, unfortunately, but that's why they're in the best in the game category, right? Because they're fantastic. For me, the Schneider card, definitely not disappointing, and was still going to put him in the S+ tier, which S+ is still a very high tier. I think he's closer to Bonmati, Ruben Dish, Salma, Marquesio Okocha, etc. than, you know, the best in the game tier players. That's not to say, of course, he's not still going to be great in game. I just think he's closer to the S+ than the best in the game. Look, I think he's a good card. I think a little bit more physical would have been appreciated, but the dribbling stats on him's really nice. The technical, incisive, and tiki-taka there. If you are using him as a cam, I do think he is missing shooting playstyles. Zero shoot. He's got a power shot, but power shot's not great anymore, unfortunately. It's just not what it used to be. So yeah, maybe you consider dead ball a shooting playstyle, but I think he's just lacking the shooting playstyles for a cam. But yeah, still S+ tier card. Yaya Toure is definitely going into the best in the game tier. I will say though, this is not an SBC ranking video. We do ranking the best SBCs and we base it off of the value. I think the value for Toure is pretty outrageous. I do think the value for him is not worth it. It's around a couple million, a similar price to Ronaldo. But that being said, in game he's still going to be one of the best in the game because it's Yaya Toure, and for those of you that know the Yaya Toure mechanics, he's a player that always performs above his stats. The next two cards that we are ranking is Govu and Smolarek, and they're both going into the S+ tier. Now I do have to say it only displays one playstyle plus on Footbin for Smolarek, but it's because they have not added in the new low driven playstyle plus, which this Smolarek does have, along with Adeyemi, Nabry, who are on the list. Lineker's got the low driven plus as well. So any card here that's got one, looks like Dalglish does too. Any card that's got one playstyle plus has Musiala must have one too. Must have that low driven plus as the next one. It's just FUTBin haven't factored it in yet. So yeah, smaller rec with a press proven and that low driven plus is going to be a bunch of fun. Govu looking fantastic as well. Look, power shot plus, not insane. I do like it paired with the first touch, but yeah, a power shot, look, it's still decent. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just not as good or meta as it used to be. Trickster plus as well. I mean, I think the playstyle pluses on Govu could be better, but that's not to say he's great in game. And yeah, smaller rec as well. He's a bit of a smaller dude, so press proven won't be the most effective, but that being said, you'll still get use out of it. And yeah, that low driven is an absolute joy to use. It's a low power shot, really. It's when you're in a shooting situation, you just got to tap shoot. And yeah, with that plus, it is very, very good. Ricardo Carvalho is going to go into the S tier. For me, he's a tier below Ruben Dijk. Both got anticipate. You could debate you'd rather the aerial over a bruiser, but DS has got more passing, more dribbling, and I think one more pace. So yeah, he just looks like a lesser version of DS in my opinion. So we'll put Ricardo Carvalho into the S tier. We've now got Beckham, Dalglish, Sol Campbell, Lineker, and Python. I think the first two that I want to rank is Dalglish and Beckham. Now, it's pretty self-explanatory for a player like Dalglish, why he's in the best in the game tier, that finesse and what I assume is the low-driven playstyle plus as well. As for David Beckham as well, if we have a look at David Beckham, always a unique player. He's a player that fits a certain role. For me, he's going to be a playmaker centre mid. See, right mid, not great, and a winger right wing, not ideal. So for me, he's really going to be your playmaker centre mid, right? So he kind of is restricted in a sense to having to be your playmaker centre mid. But with a finesse, with a finesse, dead ball, chip shot, incisive, he's got the passing play styles for the playmaker. He's got a dead ball so he can be your set piece taker, and he has got a finesse for if you were to maybe use him as a box to box or something. He's got that finesse. Half winger could actually make a lot of sense with him to make use of that finesse a little bit more, but of course not many people use the half winger player role. But yeah, for me, he's going to be your centre mid rather than your right mid or right wing. Sol Campbell, S plus for me. Missing that anticipate, man. He's so close for me wanting to put him in the best in the game. So very close. Intercept, slide tackle, fantastic stats, obviously. 93 composure, 97 reactions, 99 strength with 95 aggression, but not even a regular base anticipate. Man, he was just an anticipate away from being best in the game. But yeah, still Sol Campbell, an absolute monster. Gary Lineker, S tier. I don't think he's A++. He's very cheap and probably one of actually the best value players on the list at only a flat 100,000 coins. But people are underestimating that low driven shot, because that low driven was good before the playstyle plus and playstyle. With the playstyle plus, it is even better now. So yeah, Gary Lineker with a quick step as well. S tier. I think I'd rather Gary Lineker to Python, so we'll have Python into the A++ tier. That's not to say she's bad, but I just think she's more comparable to Akali, Isco, etc, etc. Virgil van Dijk, easily best in the game. I really do not have to explain too much there. Sam Kerr, S+. Yeah, S+, but finesse and low-driven playstyle plus combination. I've got the Zaire Emery in the S+. I think a little bit more playstyles would have had me wanting to put him into the best in the game, but I do think kind of just a lack of playstyles kind of swaying me away a little bit there. But yeah, Zaire Emery, once again, S+ are still great players, man. Still fantastic players in the S+ tier. Just for me, that step below the best in the game. Speaking of it, both Alvarez and Gabriel Martinelli into the S+ as well. The press proven and finesse playstyle plus on Alvarez is an absolute joy. The finesse and yeah, press proven combination, beautiful. Gabriel Martinelli, once again, could be a case of best in the game if he had that finesse shot playstyle plus. First touch is nice, technical is of course fantastic, but yeah, a finesse instead of a first touch, and then we're in the best in the game tier. I think as well, another player that I forgot to bump down from the last ranking is Erling Haaland. I think Erling Haaland, if we've got the likes of Alvarez, Sam Kerr, etc., I think he's a lot closer to Alvarez and Sam Kerr than he is to the ones in the best in the game. So yeah, Erling Haaland, we're bumping down to the S+ tier as well. But yeah, of course, that was the last one. I kind of just skimmed completely past him when I was going over it again and going, do I need to change anything? Musiala, S+. Low-driven technical combination is going to be really nice, especially that technical wiggle around in the box, make it tricky. It's for your defender to catch you, and then you just get that low-driven throw is going to be awesome. David Alaba, S tier. I got Swanson in the S tier as well. When you're comparing, say, Swanson to someone like Martinelli, I'd much rather myself a Martinelli than a Swanson. So I think her being in the S tier is a lot more fitting than the S+. I also feel like it feels a little bit odd though having, say, Gary Lineker, and I mean Van Basten's nice as well. DeMarco. Now DeMarco S tier, bro, 90 plus in every single stat, but I feel like the 2 playstyle plus is just letting him down, man. If he had a whipped pass and then, you know, a second one, that's just not a dead bull or a jockey. But like 90 plus, that's a Nangolan gang right here, man. That's insane. 90 plus in every stat. I wish he had like an old position of a centre mid or something. But yeah, the 2 playstyle plus is heavily letting this card down. If it wasn't for his poor playstyle pluses, we're talking S plus minimum. Nico Williams, same tier as Martinelli for me, into the S plus tier. Harry Maguire and Alatoon, we may as well do the 2 United players together. Harry Maguire is either S tier or A++. I do think I'd rather Ricardo Carvalho than a Harry Maguire, because Harry Maguire unfortunately does not have any anticipate. So yeah, once again, very close to greatness. But yeah, 6'4", great composure. Reactions could be a little bit higher there as well. But Harry Maguire into the A++ tier. Alatoon, the United counterpart for Maguire, A++. The incisive and finesse plus combination is awesome, but I do think her stats kind of let her down a little bit, unfortunately. I think her stats could definitely be a little bit higher, especially the 87 agility, 89 balance for a 5'4" player. You'd be wanting 90 pluses. So the left stick dribble on Alatoon might not be as good as you'd expect it to be. I think we're going to do lots of the fodder ones now, just to clear it up a little bit. So all of the players that for me are going into the A+ tier. For me, the players going into the A+ tier is going to be Espino, the new objective, Kulusevski, the FUT Birthday objective, who I'm really disappointed with this Kulusevski card, lads. He's got not a singular stat over 90, which is, yeah, disappointing, man. So yeah, Kulusevski into the A+ tier. Nusa, A+ tier as well. Doesn't look bad, just of course one of the more budget ones that I think is more fitting to the A+. Acosta, A+. Semenyo, I'll keep him there for now. I don't want to rank Semenyo yet. Ritila, is that how you pronounce it? Zubamendi, disappointed. I think Zubamendi, they had potential to bump up the Zubamendi's stats a lot better. The intercept and long ball isn't bad for, say, a deep lying playmaker, but not a singular stat over 90 and only 81 physical. Come on, EA. Come on, it's FUT Birthday. Steve Mandanda, just for the simple case, I'm not saying he's bad, but just for the simple case of it's a goalkeeper, right? So comparing to the rest, goalkeepers almost always are going to go in the final tier. Or the lowest tier when it comes to promo cards. Wubben Moy into the A+ as well. Is there any other definite A+ type of fodder cards? No, because some of them I'm a little bit still uneducated with, like, say, Hasegawa, Zawa, Cascarino. I want to do a little bit more research with them. I'm just unfamiliar with those cards. Hasegawa for me into the A++, not the A+, but the A+. She's got fantastic stats, but once again, her price can often reflect, I mean, Barclays Women's Super League, whatever you call it, and Japan going to be tricky to link in, but the technical press proven, great playstyles there. May not be an insane amount of playstyles, but fantastic ones, with 91 base pace, 93 base dribbling, 90 defending there as well. She is only 5'1", so you do not want to use her as a holding DM. She is going to have to be your deep lying playmaker if you use her as a CDM, or a deep lying playmaker or box-to-box centre mid. I would probably rather the deep lying playmaker because she has the incisive and pinged pass regular and no shooting playstyle. So for me, not a box-to-box, too small for a holding. So as your deep lying playmaker, for me, she's going into the A++ tier. Another card going into the A++ tier is Paredes. For me, comparable to the Rabiot card, who we ranked, of course, in the last video. Wilfred Zaha, A++. I feel as if it would be rude to rank Wilfred Zaha in the A+, because after all, of course, it's FUT Birthday. Everyone's 5-star, 5-star, but it's a 5-star, 5-star Wilfred Zaha. For those of you that know, you know. Semenyo, unfortunately, I had higher hopes for him, but we're going to have him in the A+ tier. Stats-wise, really disappointed. I think it was only one stat on Semenyo over 90. Yeah, and it's his pace. So, shooting could be better, passing, dribbling's okay, physical is decent, only 85 agility and 84 balance. I mean, He's got a finesse, a power shot plus, but yeah, look, for me, the stats really, really disappointing there. Cascarino, A plus tier. More shooting play styles would have been appreciated with her. And ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm leaving this, I say fodder card, but lower end card for last is because she looks great. Antonio Silva is going into the A++ tier. For me, she is definitely avoiding that A+ tier. Take a look at this card, guys. 91 pace, 90 defending with 91 dribbling. 91 physical and decent dribbling of 88. The agility and balance of a base 85 is not mind-boggling, but 92 reactions in there, 89 composure. She's got 91 strength, insane physical stats with an intercept and a bruiser, technical long ball, long throw, and a trickster. She can play as a wingback ++, false back ++, fullback ++, or an attacking wingback. So every single right back role, and she is 5'7", which is a good height for a wingback, and she's a woman as well, right? 5'7" tall for a woman, you're not expecting it. So absolutely awesome. An anchor chem style, use her as your fullback or wingback. Maybe opt towards a wingback because of her height. With an intercept and bruiser, you're kind of leaning towards using her more defensively as a fullback, but I don't quite think that 5'7" height will back that up, unfortunately, but still looks like an absolute steal for 38,000 coins. If you have some Brazilian, Real Madrid players, I think it's worthwhile to fit her in your team. This Tap Sober card, we did choose the wrong one. As you can see, this card selected on Footbin, because it's a player pick SBC, you can choose between two Tap Sobers, and the better one to choose is the one with the Anticipate. So of course we accidentally went for this one. But yeah, Tap Sober with the Anticipate is the version you'll be taking, and if you compare him to the likes of Ricardo Carvalho, he's got 2 more pace, more passing, more dribbling, 4 less defending, and 3 less physical. So less defending and less physical, but better in everything else. He's got a jockey and Anticipate, Ricardo's got the aerial and Anticipate. For me, Tap Sober is at the absolute minimum comparable to Ricardo Carvalho and does enough to go into the S tier. When you've also got another centre back in the S tier by the likes of Ledley King, if we want to go ahead and throw Ledley King into the comparison as well, it also gives you a wider range. You compare the physical, defending's pretty similar, and I feel like all these centre backs are comparable. In fact, Ledley King probably more comparable than Ricardo Carvalho, considering he's got the exact same 2 playstyle pluses. Next up, we are going to be ranking Pop, who is available as an SBC as well, coming in at 100,000 coins with a finesse and an aerial at 5'9", relatively tall for a woman, but in general, my problem with 5'8", 5'9" strikers like Sasic is they're taller for a woman, therefore their agility and balance isn't ranked as highly or rated as highly by EA. But comparing to men, 5'9" is pretty average, right? In fact, I think it is average, yet the agility and balance doesn't really compensate a 5'9" type of build. But otherwise, her stats look nice. Her strength is fantastic. False 9++, advanced forward ++. I just wish the agility and balance was higher than it was. The pace as well is nothing insane. For me, Pop is not going into the bottom tier. She's pretty strong in the A++ tier for me. Paulo Futura, easy S tier. Easy S tier. If we've got Garnacho, Diaby, etc. in S tier, Futura has got his spot in S tier as well, available as an SBC. Danny Da Costa, a fantastic fullback, A++, same tier as someone like Antonio Silva. He's also available to put into a, what's he available to put into? The King of Egypt Evolution to make him 90 rated. My current right back right now. Gavi is S tier for me. I like the Anticipate and Tiki Taka combo, but I wouldn't quite have him on the same tier as the players in the S+. Whilst I'm looking at this as well, I feel like Thuram is sticking out. We're kind of just doing it as we go along. I want to move Thuram down to the A++. Really disappointed with him. A +4 from his 87 card, but literally only +1s on his FUT Birthday. The worst +4 upgrade in history, but Thuram still very meta, so he's not in the bottom tier. But yeah, it was just looking kind of, you know, it was sticking out like a sore thumb in the S tier with the other players there. Martinez from Barcelona. Do I want to have him in the A++ tier, or do I want to have him in a higher tier? I think with Martinez though, and we were looking at Scott as well, who we may as well do next whilst we're here. With Martinez, an Anticipate Plus would have me definitely wanting to put him on the same tier as the Tap Sober, as the Ricardo Carvalho, Ledley King. But he does not have the Anticipate Plus. He does have a regular Anticipate, 88 composure could maybe be a little bit higher. I think 114k is a little bit too pricey to pay for him. But yeah, for me, I'd rather the other center backs like Ledley King than Martinez. So I'm going to put Martinez down into the A++ tier. Serge Gnabry with a quick step playstyle plus and a low driven playstyle plus as well. At the absolute minimum, he's going into the A++, but we may very well bump him up to the S tier. The low driven, very underrated with a technical there. Trickster, first touch, 5-star with great dribbling stats, and he's a player that I'm also using in my main team right now off of the bench in FUT Champions. I think a Hunter chemistry style, without a doubt, the best role for him as an inside forward plus on the right wing as well would work an absolute treat. I'm more than happy to bump Serge Gnabry up to the S tier. Which, whilst we're here, we'll go for Adeyemi, who for me is that step above Serge Gnabry, and we're going to have Adeyemi into the S+. The exact same two playstyle pluses in quick step, and I've both got the low driven playstyle plus, the newly added playstyle of course, and for me Adeyemi is just that little step up. Adeyemi available as an SBC. He's got 99 pace, less shooting, a little bit less passing, but more dribbling and 7 more physical. But when it comes down to a little bit more of the in-depth stats as well, both got 90 composure, which is really nice, but those strength stats really benefiting Adeyemi. The 94 stamina as well, because they will be running a lot, and only 84 stamina on Serge Gnabry. So yeah, for me, Adeyemi going into the S+ with Gnabry into the S tier. We've got 3 players left: Alex Scott, Essien and Matheus Cunha. Now we'll start with Alex Scott because we had her up before. I think she's got a fantastic selection of playstyles. Look at all of these playstyles with an intercept and a block. But I would not want to use her as a fullback because she is 5'4". She's definitely going to be your wingback with your maybe anticipate wingback, maybe attacking wingback, but for me, wingback would do the job fine. But I don't want to put her in any tier that is above the other wingbacks like Da Costa and Antonio Silva, who are in the A++ tier. Essien and Matheus Cunha left. Now, I'll start with Essien, and I'm a little bit disappointed with him, guys. With Essien, you're kind of expecting FUT Birthday icon Essien. He's going to be an S+ tier player. Unfortunately for me, I'm only putting him, I say only, but I'm putting him into the S tier. And for me, I think it's the playstyle plus of Incisive is nice for a deep lying playmaker, but many will be using him as a holding playmaker, where he's got a jockey, which is fine. But as a holding, you want to anticipate, and only a total of 6 playstyles all up, with 2 stats above 90 being defending and physical. I just think, once again, we're excluding the price, but I just think in general, a better playstyle plus would have been nice, and a few more playstyles in general would have been nice as well. When it comes to Matheus Cunha, he's got that finesse. His stats are fantastic, but there's always got to be a downside, and it is the chip shot playstyle plus. When you are playing high divisions, higher tier FUT champs finals, etc., your opponent is often not going to be rushing his goalkeeper out. So the chip shot for me is one of the worst, if not the worst, attacking playstyle plus on the game, because people that know what they're doing when it comes to defending do not rush their goalkeeper out in the first place, making it near useless. Power hitter, rapid, he's got the base trickster, so the trickster fake shots will be really good with him. Dribbling, of course, fantastic. I mean, his stats are fantastic, right? But we're at that stage of a game where there's so much more important things than stats. Body type, skill moves, weak foot, which is irrelevant to FUT Birthdays, which of course are all 5-star, but play styles as well. Really important. I also did think, I'm lucky I had the idea now to go and check FUTBin, FUT.gg, who do have a low driven playstyle loaded in. He does also have a regular low driven playstyle, which is nice. Of course, it's not a plus, but he does have that regular low driven playstyle as well. So yeah, of course, keep that in mind, and I am glad that I double checked that, right? So he's got that low driven playstyle too, which is nice. But imagine if a finesse shot plus and that low driven plus together. I mean, he'd be like over 1 million coins if that was the case. But yeah, the trickster plus regular is nice, the rapid plus is nice. But I still think 6 play styles we could be, or 7 play styles, because he is a low driven, we could be doing with a little bit more. For me though, Matheus Cunha, is he S tier? Is he S+ tier? He's at least one of them. For me, guys, I'm going to put him into the S+ tier. Let me know if you think he should have been lower or higher. But when we review this, I'm pretty happy with it. We may change some players as we go over. And of course, there's almost 100 players here, right? So there's bound to be some disagreement somewhere. So let me know with what you would change. But in the best in the game category, you've got Rafael, Leao. I'm not going to name every player, but you can see just the absolute elite tier players there. The S Plus still fantastic players, but just that step down from the best in the game, like Ruben Dias, Schneider, Govu, Smolarek with that low driven playstyle plus, Sam Kerr with that low driven playstyle plus, and Phineas Sol Campbell. So close for me to want to put him in the best in the game, but unfortunately just missing that anticipate. Zia Emery, a little bit more playstyles as well. We would have had him in the best in the game. I'm pretty sure he also has a low driven playstyle regular. With Zia Emery, I just think he's a little bit overpriced. He's about 1 million coins. I think he might actually be the most expensive player, maybe with Martinelli, the most expensive player, Zia Emery and Nally in this S Plus tier. But I think with Zia Emery is he's missing that incisive. As a playmaker centre mid, no incisive is a little bit annoying. And Martinelli, if an S Plus would have been really appreciated to make that jump up. I've got Alvarez there, of course Haaland, who we jumped down, Musiala with a low driven plus, Adeyemi, and Matthias Cunha. The S tier is still the fantastic players like Garnacho, Ledley King, Van Basten, Petit, Lineker, Essien, Nabry, who I feel like are just that step below the S plus. The good cards there, and we're not doing this based on price, but I think all the players here are kind of between 50 to 200k. This is kind of 200 to 1 million, and then this is like a mil plus. Once again, we're not just doing it on price, but if you were going by price, I guess the tiers do kind of back it up in a sense, right? Or the prices back up the tiers, I put them in a little bit. I think there are some more expensive players in the A++ tier than there is in the S tier though, so there is that as well. We got Vakali, Isco, Lobotka, Garassi, who I think I'm still happy keeping Garassi in the A++ tier, although he does have a player of the month that is actually better than his FUT Birthday now. I do feel like he's kind of looking a little bit out of place. Maybe Abraham as well. You know what? No, I like that press proven on Abraham because he's a giant. He's 6'5", I think. Some beautiful underrated cards here, like Antonio Silva. Paredes, I think, is really underrated. Hasegawa, underrated. Thuram, just disappointed with him. Of course, in the A+, you've got lots of the more kind of discard type of players. And when I am thinking about it, my final change of the tier list, guys, I'm moving Garassi down to the A+ tier as well. So your A++ tier, then you have got the A+. Let me know what you guys agree and disagree with. Once again, we have to scroll a lot. I feel like I'm surprised my computer's not exploded. Probably a longer tier list ranking as well. This might be near 30 minutes long just because of the amount of players that we have done. All right, it's FUT Birthday. Let me know what you guys have rated this FUT Birthday promo out of 10 so far. It's been your boy Davis, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.